perhaps a run back a little bit of what we saw in one of the earlier games where Cloud9 then wants to take away the Kaisa, TL then moves towards the things like the Xayah, and you see kind of the natural progression of the draft from there, unless TL wants to kind of take a left turn here and go a different route.
Well, we got the Rell already picked up here. Only it was, I think it was only that first game that we got to see him on the same team, wasn't it?
Udyr as well?
Yep. I hope y'all are a fan of the taste of Hecarim Udyr because it is the flavor of the day here in the finals.
Yeah.
These two champions just coming out on top as the others get banned away.
It's Kaisa now. I think for sure this is going to get locked in, and then Alistar makes sense. That's the answer. The draft has progressed forward in a pretty understandable way. Yeah. The question here comes, does TL have a priority mid laner, or do they try to prioritize their bot laner, the Xayah that I mentioned? This is pretty much 6 for 6 on unexpected picks.
Your brain's too big, bro.
And there's some patterns definitely here.
Don't worry about that. Your brain's just too big. There's too many electrical synapses and stuff back between all the...
That's why there's no more hair. You know, no room. The brain
Your brain absorbed it to the inside of your skull?
No, push it all out.
That's heavy metal, man. I respect that. I respect that. All right. Let's see how the bans shake out now, because we have mirrored picks on both sides. It's bot lanes and junglers only. The flexibility here is non-existent. So that means solo laners must be targeted now in the second half of these bans. Renekton has been removed. Malphite has been removed.
I think Gnar gets banned out next by Cloud9 potentially here. Just looking towards some of the picks that Alphari would go to that could be problematic. You know, assuming it's going to be a blind pick here for Fudge, my guess is that it will be last pick for Alphari, but we'll see. Do they want to go here for Jensen or not? If they ban out the Gnar, I'm expecting just a Viktor coming through from Jensen, and then it's going to be potentially the answer from there. Of course, they could go towards a blind pick tank, like a Scion or something, if they wanted, and then try to protect, but the Viktor makes sense. Now, I feel like with Gnar available, you go Gnar here for Fudge, and you kind of just have to be concerned about the Aurelia, so maybe you go Scion instead and really try to play full on front to back. And you could just go like Scion Azir, and then you're set up fully for 5v5, and you're really ready to go as far as what I was talking about, moving away from some of the more clever picks towards what is just kind of rock solid team fight 5v5. Zoe, a different option here, does give them a little bit more playmaking, and that's what they're indexing towards. You know, if you go Scion Azir, you are locking in more scaling, more powerful, straight up front to back team fighting, but this does give you the additional playmaking. You land a bubble, that can be a game changer. You land that Gragas engage, that can change the game as well. Of course, going this route, you put yourself in what can be a more difficult matchup against the Gnar. You know, that's why I thought Gnar was going to get banned out. You know, I'm going to be honest. I feel like that could have been a really powerful ban here, but potentially with the Alistar up, with the Gragas coming through, they were worried about giving some of those over in addition to the Hecarim ultimate. So a little bit different look than what I expected there, but all in all, it's pretty standard stuff here, and it feels like both teams are ready for 5v5, but again, the barrier of execution is higher for Cloud9. They have additional playmaking tools, maybe higher potential if everything goes right. You know, you hit that sleep, you hit that perfect Gragas ulti, maybe you just win the fight straight up.
Yeah.
But if that does not happen, I again favor TL's comp.
Because with extra playmaking, often comes extra punishment as well.
Yeah.
A bad cask can really screw up an otherwise good engage. If Zoe's not ever able to connect on the skill shots and you can navigate around those and then hard engage afterwards, Zoe doesn't feel nearly as good, right? So they have to be playing this well. I like the fact that they opted for such a thing because it means they have confidence in themselves to win in a skill-based matchup.
Absolutely, and their engage is going to be explosive, something that we'll have to see TL really watch out for, both as the Xayah and as the Viktor. You know, if there's a body slam flash and you don't react with the Xayah ulti in time, you can die 100-0 in the CC for sure. With an Alistar coming in to follow that up, you know, Viktor as well, you can get caught out, knocked out of position, knocked down as well. The Hecarim is going to be there to follow up. They have some very powerful engage. They have balanced that out a little bit more as far as the scaling does go here. They have the dive. And this really, I think, is pretty indicative of the styles that these teams like to play, right? It's go late game, go 5v5, but with a little splash of style of the team.
Yeah.
Cloud9 going a little bit more in, going a little bit more aggressive. TL saying, now we'd rather have a more solid front line. We're going to play it slow, and we're going to punish you by absorbing those engages very effectively.
Okay, so let's take a look, take stock of all the resources here at the start. It is heal for both of our AD carries, no cleanse being required this game. Both supports also running the Ignite without an exhaust being necessary. Summoner Spellbook for Perkz in the mid lane, while Jensen is running a phase rush. So we'll still see all 4 teleports being on solo laners. And then the jungle, it's phase rush, but Perkz getting jumped on here at level 1. Gonna lose some HP, but doesn't have to use any summoner spells.
But it actually really sucks because the minions are already out on the map.
Too close.
You don't get to base, right? You know, this is one of those situations where it's like, that's 30 seconds earlier, who cares? You base, you're back out there. That's going to be all 3 of your corrupting potion charges. So now we're going to have to see a change in strategy here for the laning phase for Perkz. From here, I feel like you're going for a hard shove. You're trying to reset the wave instantly, dump all your mana, get back to base, refill that corrupting potion as soon as it is possible. So as Jensen, you want to fight for the wave. You want to auto-attack nonstop. Lock this guy down in this lane where all of a sudden the missing sustain becomes an issue.
All right, keep your eyes on Perkz and how he handles this lane here early on, because losing all that HP, man, that feels so bad right before the minions spawn. Tactical and CoreJJ with control over the bottom lane here right now. Kaisa Alistar versus the Xayah with Rell, breaking up the Kaisa Rell domination, but man, the Xayah back on tactical. Remember when he played this previously, it was his performance in the final team fight that won them the game.
So CoreJJ is dismounted. If they hit 2, you can do a W flash or you remount and flip in Zven before he hits 2. So Cloud9 needs to back it up. This is actually playing it pretty dangerously here. They are very close to 2. They will back up in time potentially, but anytime he's dismounted, that is actually a more explosive engage when you're looking for a single target engage, because it's nearly impossible to actually react to the W for the remount, instant flash auto. That goes through pretty much 100% of the time. You're over the shoulder, you're maybe dead.
So difficult to respond to that, but fortunately for Cloud9, the distance is not there. They do not spike soon enough on the side of TL, and that means the threat is gone. Back here in the mid lane, Perkz has picked up a free heal there from the balloons on the minions.
That's nice.
Blaber's doing some of that double clear there in the jungle. Very powerful stuff for champions that have the AoE to get it done, and he'll just keep on trying to accelerate this forward.
It's actually a really big deal, because Jensen basically was using his mana to battle the health of his opponent. But because he picked up a free heal, all of a sudden you're losing that war.
Nice CC combo here on the bottom side, but CoreJJ getting headbutted and pulverized afterwards. Still ends up being a very decisive win here in that trade for TL's bottom lane.
Absolutely. Does land the full CC combo there. Really nicely done. If you can get the initial engage with the root follow-up, the Ignite comes across. Zven is just locked down for so much of that fight that he can't really return fire, and then by the time he is getting that damage out, you're hitting an Aftershock Rell, who just doesn't really care about what you're trying to get done.
No, not at all.
Well on Karma, sure you can play well on Janna, but you just don't see it in the same way.
It just ain't the same. Engaged supports are my favorite ones to watch too. We're back into the game! 4 minutes in, we have rejoined the players, we are live, and we are ready to go. Let's see where they're going to focus now. Junglers are on opposite ends of the map. You can see Armao. He's shadowing up here around this top side. This is where things have gone bad. And now it looks like there won't really be anything happening too much elsewhere. Blaber is doing a good job keeping up with the Udyr here. He's not on the Nocturne. Hecarim does farm faster than Nocturne does, so he'll stay up easily.
Absolutely will. We can see both mid laners did get to go back to base, but given that Perkz didn't have to TP, that tells me he got the push. He created the mana advantage. He gets to shove it in, save that teleport, which can mean you've got to be more careful in those side lanes. If you hard commit to some sort of an engage as the Rell, for example, who wants to play aggressive, and you get TP'd on by the Zoe, that can absolutely get turned around here. You can see some different styles as the early tier is pretty standard for control mages, just being able to get the mana to be able to keep up on the wave clear.
Man, and you know, credit to Perkz, summoner spell heal or not, the man played the lane in a way where he started this lane off at level 1 with 200 HP, and now he's the one with prio, he's the one with even farm. There's a reason that he's one of the most accomplished players that there is, right? Like,
absolutely.
He knows how to handle any situation you're going to throw at him. And we might be seeing the earliest Drake of the series so far here. Right as it spawns, it's Team Liquid going after it.
We'll see if there's going to be a contest, because it's now spotted. They suss it out. I mean, you don't drop a pink ward over the wall unless you are thinking about doing something about it. I think, unfortunately, for C9, they are too little too late.
Yes, sir.
Armao going to be able to grab that one for him. And the Udyr really has been dictating the pace in all of these games. He's been the one grabbing the dragon. It's not really a surprise because he clears so fast. He souls it up so well. Vulcan on the roam here trying to threaten Jensen, but won't mean too much. And
yeah. CoreJJ's right there too, so they can't try to overcommit, go for an Alistar.
Am I a liar?
Oh no! Not again! He waits for it, but he's not quite fast enough to get behind him for the devastating charge. The Ghost wasn't used that time.
But look again at the wave state. Now it's stuck in this awkward spot. Because Armao went bot, they knew he could not be top. He takes the dragon. Blaber going back in here for the punish. Again. Ghost is available. You called it out.
Let's do it again. Alphari with the ward over the wall. But here comes Blaber! Alphari's knocked backwards. The cast knocks him to the side. Not ideal placement, but good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put Alphari on the floor every single game.
Rack him up. It's top diff in a different way, man. You look back to lock-in. You'll be thinking, yeah, of course there's top diff every game. Of course one of them bad every game.
Yeah, man, what are you talking about?
Exactly, but it has been the other way. TP was still available for Alphari, critically for him, so not an absolute disaster, but still not the start you were looking for. Goes through the early call, likely working towards Merc Dreads with that Null Magic Mantle that is going to help him out here. And it is AP Gragas. I believe I saw the last chapter there. Let's watch this one more time. I think he was aware it could be happening because, I mean, it's been happening over and over. He knows the Ghost wasn't actually used. Seeing that the ward goes down and it was immediately turned off either means there's a pink there or it's being swept, right? So knowing that, he could suss out that there was someone around and does pull back.
And Jensen just dropping the Chaos Storm here, trying to get as much push with that as he can. Almost out of mana. So we'll probably see him attempt to base here some point soon. Perkz will continue clearing out the wave, trying to throw them paddle stars into the caster minion lines. Paddle plus a couple auto attacks takes him down. Nice movement there from Jensen, sidestepping away from that point-blank range bubble.
That has been something he has been so good at his entire career. These little sidesteps, these little jukes back and forth. You know, back when I was still making Lane Kingdom, that piece of content, it was so interesting to watch him play and watch pro view for some of these players in the past, where they're just so tough to hit skill shots with because they're constantly dodging back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It makes it incredibly difficult to place that skill shot and actually land it.
And especially when you compare it to the expectation of Zoe versus someone, I feel like all the time when you see a good Zoe in solo queue, that's one of the things they can do, right? They jump forward, they get the point-blank bubble, and they make the play off of that. So Jensen just showing like the difference between a top-tier solo queue player and a top-tier professional player, knowing how to dodge away from those tricky situations.
I mean, it could be an absolute difference maker. If you get caught there, you know, you're low on mana, you get hit with the sleep, you're chunked low. The lane can be into a pretty awkward spot here. Perkz just looking to shove, though. Blaber is over on the Herald, and the fact that the Hecarim is going to be able to get this is really nice for them. So going to be able to secure that. They had the push on the top side. There was no flash on Alphari, so he had to play safe. Jensen had been getting pushed in by Perkz, and as a result, they claimed their prize up on the top side. Feels like one of the first games where the neutrals are being traded back and forth.
I was about to say the same thing. Our brains, they're on the same wavelength, man. Yeah.
Synergy.
The Dragon for Team Liquid, but the Herald for Cloud9. And with that first blood, they have the gold lead. The Herald, if dropped properly, is going to build that up even more. And that puts Cloud9 in a good spot to then contest and stop Team Liquid from stacking more Drakes.
Yep. Something else I want to touch on a little bit, because it is AP Gragas, probably going to be Everfrost would be my assumption. People really do just love that item, probably on Zoe as well.
So powerful.
Being able to just jump forward with the ulti and lock someone down. This means they have less of a front line, right? So it is more explosive again on the engage. It's more indexing towards that playmaking. But again, the barrier of execution is high, and especially as AP Gragas, you know, we talked about, oh, if the cast doesn't land as a tank Gragas, your team fight is much less effective. If you body slay and flash in there as the AP Gragas, and they flash that, or you whiff, woof, that's
you're dead, man.
Yeah, it ain't it.
You are done for. All right. Let's see. Getting close to those big ultis, those big hits in the team fights that could really change things around. We've still got the supports both at level 5. I believe my eyesight is terrible and the screen's a little far away. So
they're 6.
Okay, CoreJJ is 6.
Yep.
I was looking at the thing on the corner. My bad. And so that means that Vulcan now level 6 as well. We've got everything online.
This is dangerous for Blaber.
Yeah, this is a bit of risky business here. But he does successfully invade and force the blue buff onto the enemy jungler. Even if you can't steal it away, making him smite it, not allowing it to be given over to the Viktor, that's still a win.
Yep, and I actually like that a lot more than them going hard for it and trying to ult in and steal it and take a fight, where I think they would have been flanked. they're going to be able to grab the dragon, and now you just want to disengage, but CoreJJ says no!
CoreJJ is not going to let him. Blaber's trying to run away. Remember, the onslaught of shadows can get him over the wall. He's out, he's fine, and the Drakes are now all tied up.
Yeah, and that's actually really good here for Cloud9. They force out the smite, so if Armao didn't have a second smite charge, he wouldn't have even been able to contest whatsoever. So they know one of the charges is down. They do take that. That is flashed off CoreJJ, and they were able to disengage that very effectively. Yes, it is the Onslaught of Shadows, but that's a pretty low cooldown. The Ghost, a pretty low cooldown in comparison. So now the bot lane here for Cloud9 is going to be feeling a lot more safe for these next couple minutes, knowing that the opportunity for CoreJJ to engage is greatly reduced.
And they're also going to feel great knowing that, hey, you don't have to worry about some dragon stacking this game. Neither team does. We've got 1-to-1 so far on those. Because of the fact that the map is not on fire, I believe that we will see the Mountain Soul this time around.
Sir.
I wasn't paying attention when it switched
Top
off.
left.
Okay. Oh, I know how to use it.
It's your first time casting League of Legends.
Yeah. I've never casted League of Legends.
Don't worry.
I don't know where to look at.
First time. It's okay.
I'm just trying to show how you use deductive reasoning to figure out where things are.
Well, there isn't any big mountain, man, so I'm not sure.
Yes, of course. The environment hasn't burned down. Anyway, back up to what Team Liquid's trying to do. They want to try to make another play up here. They've got the control ward in the river, so Armao knows that Fudge doesn't have that warded out, but the problem is, man, Fudge is in no rush. He doesn't care about stepping up any further. He's just going to maintain safe distance. He body slams back in, finds a bit of a quick trade against Alphari, and he's no worse for wear.
Yep, didn't get the third hit there, so couldn't proc the phase rush as his barrel was on cooldown. That is the trifecta you were talking about, but Vulcan on the roam here, clearing out vision. Such a critical part of playing around mid lane is actually this vision control, even donating over the ward kill to Perkz. 30 gold in his pocket there.
Hey, why not? It's about 1.5 melee minions worth of gold, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely worth doing. Every little bit can count, and you can see Perkz now with the spellbook, double combat summoners at this point, so Jensen definitely does not want to take a straight-up fight there. Heal plus Ignite, going to be difficult to deal with.
Plus Randuin's Omen to slow him down. That makes those skill shots even easier to hit. So you always got to respect what the Zoe picked up from the balloons.
Is in Mega shortly.
Okay, Shelly's here. Looks like it's just going to be another one of those two-plate Rift Herald charges. There it is, immediately killed right after. And that means Cloud9 ties up the gold, man. It is dead even for the fourth game.
I gotta say, these teams are good about actually handling these heralds. No one has really given these big heralds where they get a ton, like a full tower or multiple towers. They have just been so good at anticipating where that is coming, rotating the members over to answer, and always having 2 or 3 there when the herald is going to be dropped to make sure, hey, you can have the plates, but you're getting nothing else.
The most successful herald that we saw was the one at the top lane tier 1 turret a couple of games ago where they knocked down the first 2 plates, herald gets the next 2, but it's still not a full kill like you already pointed out. So lots of good control over those objectives here. Cloud9 invading the enemy jungle now as a 4-man squad. They've got Fudge up there in the top lane, but he can even teleport down here if need be. They move in, they set down some vision, they steal the Gromp, and now they're right back out.
And good job there by TL, knowing that this could be happening. Phase Rush going to have to be procced here. Everfrost up. Look at the Fat Man go.
Yeah, nice even trade there between them. Everfrost active used by Fudge just to lock Alphari down a little bit more, make sure he can't chase for an extra auto attack or 2. Blaber will have control over this topside river though, so he can grab the Scuttle Crab pretty easily. And now, here goes Fudge, tossing out the ulti there, but a fast flash from Alphari gets him away. Everfrost, after the fact, roots him up, but it's not enough.
Man, Fudge is actually playing this lane out quite well. Alphari, though, is creating a CS advantage, but the pressure from Fudge plus Blaber has been forcing out some of these summoners. You can tell how much of a importance they're putting on playmaking, right? Triple Lucidity boots on the top side of the map. They are looking to make plays. They want the lower CDR. They want the cooldown reduction as well for their summoners so they can get in there, create these opportunities for them to fight.
And it's kind of like just a bit of a different story compared to what we saw in the previous game where it was all Merc Treads rush. Hey, this time around, we don't need that. Focus on the offensive version instead. Because these Ionian cooldown boots, it's been pretty interesting to see just how prevalent they have become among everyone, particularly junglers. People just love the rush on these items to make these plays. Perkz finds 1 paddle star over the wall, but I mean, Armao's got turtle stance. He'll be able to lifesteal back up. He's not really worried about much of anything with that poke.
We will have to track, though, if they can be punished for Lucidity boots, because while it's not TF, it's not the point and click that they actually stacked all their Merc Treads against last time, there's still a lot of CC when you think about the Blade Caller route, all the CC coming through from Rell, Gravity Field can be layered over top of those. If you land anything, you've still got the Bear Slap, you've still got all the Mega Gnar CC. So there is a high amount, and that really just tells me that they feel they have got to be the initiators. They have got to have those cooldowns ready and be able to be in the face of their opponents to make things happen. And I tend to agree with the composition that they've drafted for themselves.
Third Drake has spawned, and as long as he's alive, Cloud9 are going after him here. Shouldn't be much of a contest. C9 do have control over the whole bottom side of the map. You can see Zven's got the wave at the turret, taking that one down. Vulcan clearing out some of the vision from the enemy jungle, and Blaber is left alone to take care of this Drake, and he'll pick that one up. So, but the response from Team Liquid on the other side, immediately they're grabbing the Rift Herald.
Very evenly matched across the two teams. You can see that Jensen, though, is unmatched right up on that top side, so they're going to be pushing heavily here. Cloud9 is pushing mid and bot, but it will be TL getting the additional farm right now as they have members in all 3 lanes. So we'll see if Cloud9 want to try to force the issue, knowing Jensen is not there and has no TP.
Well, Team Liquid can clear that wave out effectively enough. Armao just runs up knowing even if he gets Bubble plus Paddle Star, he can't die from it. He's tanky enough to not worry about that. So then Zoe's not able to send everyone else away. And there you go. Turret destroyed up there. And now we've got this wave pushed up into the tier 2 in bottom lane. 1 turret to 1 turret, still 1,000 gold separating us here. 3 minutes away from Baron spawning, 4 minutes away from the next Drake being alive. This is where you start to see Team Liquid become concerned with contesting those, especially because if we're going for these big team fight compositions, stacking up those Mountain Drakes, getting that Mountain Soul could be a huge difference maker.
It is also interesting to see Cloud9 take a step back as far as how aggressive they are playing in these early stages. They will have to be very explosive as far as the team fights do go, but perhaps feeling that they were a little bit over-aggressive in some of the previous games, not getting enough for what they were risking. And this is match point, so the pressure is on.
You can't risk anymore. There's no more risk possibility. You can't just say, okay, go for the big move here. If it doesn't work out, whatever, we'll clean it up in the next one.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the next one. So for Team Liquid, you've got a little breathing room still, right? It can go to Game 5. We can still get them silver scrapes. But Cloud9, man, it's do or die here. As Armao will run over a ward, but not really too worried about that. He'll sweep it, he'll run back, drops down the Rift Herald. 18 minutes into the game, so no plates to be found. Looks like we're only going to get the 1 charge into just about nothing afterwards. And yeah, there it is. Vulcan and Perkz ought to be able to take care of that one. Haven't quite killed it yet. Somebody hit the eyeball. Come on. There we go. All right. Rift Herald's out of the picture. Cloud9 maintain their tier 1 turret. Pushing up now once again. Look at that mid lane tier 1 for Team Liquid. It's even more injured, though.
It is. And Zven was actually up to the top side, getting some chip damage on the outer top lane tower during this time. So it is down pretty low itself. And with Jensen now not in the area, they could push this in and potentially kill that off. We'll see if TL want to try to rush up here and answer, because a lot of Cloud9 members are moving up towards that top side. There is no mid lane wave for TL right now, so it looks, because of the faster move towards that top side, members are in the area. Zven may want to finish this off, but they've spotted Udyr now, and Cloud9 did start going back towards mid lane, so this does get a little bit dicey.
Okay, Armao's not going to head towards top side. Vulcan and Blaber are right there, ready to protect Zven if need be. So second turret goes over now to Cloud9. They will go up to about a 2,000 gold lead thanks to that one. 2 minutes until Drake spawns. Mid lane tier 1 for Team Liquid, just still barely hanging on. You know C9 would love to knock that thing down, complete that outer ring, make it safer to move into enemy territory and place down some vision, but Team Liquid are not just going to allow that to happen. Jensen up here on the top side on this Viktor. Remember, it was a Viktor performance earlier where he had 100% KP, where he was doing some of that hard carrying, heavy lifting. 0-0 and 0 right now. But man, I love just looking at the farm of pro players too, because you look at Jensen, you say, 211 at 19 minutes, that's really good. And then you're like, okay, he's down 3 waves.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
It is really insane. And the mid laners are so good about, it's not only not missing any CS, but also getting in and stealing away the Raptors constantly, right? And that is a big part of how they get to these really enormous CS numbers. 1 minute until the Mountain Dragon. Feels like both teams are content to poke and prod, look for opportunities, but don't want to commit to anything without feeling like it's a sure thing. Right. And given that, it's going to be about the setup here for this Dragon. The Everfrost is done for Perkz. For a second, I was thinking, okay, he's going Ludens because he actually got the early Blasting Wand alongside his Lost Chapter, but decided to think better of that. It's just going to be built into a Void Staff, so just one of the early AP for a little bit more kill threat in lane. You can see CDR being stacked by Fudge. Likely going to be a Zhonya second, I would assume. A lot of times when you are going towards that AP Gragas, you want to be able to go in, use the full burst combo, and then they try to turn on you into the Zhonyas.
And Void Staff's second item here, cool. I like it. Look at the enemy team. Almost everyone has some form of magic resistance. Yeah, there's Merc treads on 4 players, plus Turbo Kim Tank also gives a little bit of extra magic resistance. Yep. You can see another magic mantle in CoreJJ's inventory too. So Perkz is guaranteeing anybody who gets caught out by a bubble, anybody who gets hit with a random paddle star, is going to be taking a significant amount of damage.
So something we have to also remember here is because Zoe is not, a standalone control mage, right? This is more about poke. The setup becomes that much more important. When you're playing around Dragon, the fight, how a fight has to be played out when you are walking blind into a Zoe versus when you are first to the Dragon, the Zoe has to walk into you, is night and day. It is so hard to approach a Zoe who is already set up at the objective when you don't have vision, because it's so easy to walk into a sleep and just get exploded from that. So Cloud9 had first move towards the Dragon, and they're now at Soul Point, and that was uncontested because Cloud9 had the better setup and TL didn't feel comfortable moving over towards it. And this is Mountain Soul, an important Dragon Soul here, which really is going to change things. When you're looking at some of the powerful engage on both sides, being able to have the Mountain Soul shield can be the difference between surviving that engage or going down instantly.
37-35, so still a 2,000 gold difference separating the teams, but it will be up to Team Liquid to come answer that challenge. Considering they at least got themselves an early Drake, it means, you don't have to do it 3 times in a row before you get a chance at the Soul, but it still means 10 minutes worth of having to contest those things without much reward.
And it's the pressure of landing those smites, of not messing up a single time. That is one of the biggest things that is kind of that intangible, just the mental factor of knowing, if I get caught before Dragon, I could lose my team the game, right? I could give over that soul. I could be the reason. And it does sometimes make players play a little bit hesitant, a little bit additionally cautious, because they know they have got to be so careful around those Dragon spawn timers. The Baron also on the map here. So we're only 1 kill in a 23-minute game. This is by far the most cautious pace that these two teams have really put forth. And it means when the team fight inevitably breaks out, the rewards are that much greater. This is not the 9-minute Dragon team fight where it's like, good job, guys, we got a Cloud. No, this is, you get slammed at the Dragon, maybe you lost Soul and Baron. Maybe you lost the game.
Yeah, the loot builds up more if you don't open the treasure box.
Like the lotto,
early.
Every week someone doesn't win, it just keeps getting bigger.
The loot just keeps piling up, and somebody's gonna get paid whenever we finally see one of these team fights. I expect it at maximum to be 3 minutes away with that Mountain Drake being on the board. Even no matter how bad Team Liquid wants to scale, you just can't give that soul away for free at 25 minutes.
The only way we possibly wouldn't see a fight is if Cloud9 thinks they can get a Baron trade. If they think they can get a Baron for the Mountain Dragon, hey, you don't really care about giving 1 over to TL, but I don't think that TL will allow them to really navigate that sort of situation. When your opponent tries to go for that sort of a trade, Baron for Dragon, you just simply have one person soloing the Dragon, you move the other 4 up to contest the Baron, and that buys you enough time. So we'll see what exactly is going to happen, but C9 is starting to set up a little bit more on the Baron side of the map. It's 2 minutes till the Dragon spawns, so they want to play around this area, start to fish for poke, start to fish for engage. But meanwhile, Alphari is creating advantages on that bottom side.
Yeah, Alphari grabbing the tier 1 turret down there, picking up the 2nd turret of the game here for Team Liquid, just making sure anything he possibly has a window to grab for his team, he can do that. And we'll see if he gets a big Gnar ulti in one of these upcoming fights here. Has the flash ready to go. Let's check in on summoner spells, actually, because we have all 10 of them online for Team Liquid, all 10 of them online for Cloud9. Perkz has a cleanse switched over, now putting that onto a clarity.
Yep. Cloud9 also have a stopwatch in their mid lane, a Zhonya's in their top lane, something that you always talk about. Having to track becomes incredibly important. The value you can get from that, if that immunes something like the Rell engage or potentially a Mega Gnar ultimate, that can be game changing. And again, very heavily execution based. Seeing that Cloud9, they realize, okay, we're not going to be able to attempt the Baron just yet. So now they're moving down towards bot side, trying to clear out a little bit of the wards around there, trying to start establishing some vision, because again, being the one first to the objective is incredibly important with the Zoe.
And Cloud9 are the ones with control. 60 seconds still remain Alphari retreating in time here in the bottom lane. You can see Cloud9 wanted to make that
Run,
collapse.
run.
Maybe if he got just a little bit too hyphy, just a little bit too invested in hanging out down there. But there's not really anything even left to defend, so there's no reason for Alphari to stick around. He's plenty fine just hanging back a little bit, letting himself farm up, not putting himself in any danger. Cloud9 still having control over this bottom side area right now. Team Liquid, they know they're going to have to go into this. They know that they have to deal with the Zoe that has control over the area, and they got to figure out how to do it. It's going to be a TP play coming in. Hecarim goes in with the onslaught of shadows, but they're still surviving for now. A lot of damage down into CoreJJ. Blaber's going to be taken out first with the root coming through. Armao grabs the kill. C9 now trying to back up a little bit. Perkz with some nice damage onto Jensen. Lands the Drowsy onto Tactical, who goes up into the ulti, but he's popped by Zven. Very nicely done from C9. They will lose their support in trade. Fudge buying some time here with the zone.
Over the wall.
Another sleep comes through. Perkz doing a lot of work. CoreJJ is going to be taken down, but again, it's going to be a trade kill. Perkz and Zven against the world, man. These two doing all the work here. Zven has been sent into the Dragon Pit, and he will try to claim the soul here for C9. Armao's coming back around. Jensen trying to get back to the base and maybe TP back into this. They can't get it in time. Mountain Soul over to Cloud9.
It's the European reunion. Zven and Perkz coming up big for Cloud9 there. The initial engage looks so good from TL. Catching out Perkz here a little bit. They get on top of him, and it looks like it's going to be a fight that goes their way. The early flash, though, created a lot of distance for Perkz. It meant that Viktor and Xayah could not follow up. The fight does continue with Zven getting a lot of damage out. Blaber goes down, but I feel like Zven played this out so well, and Perkz landing a lot of this. The sleep was massive. The ulti comes out, but you're still slept when you arrive. And then in goes Fudge. That's a body slam flash. Perfectly timed. Now the ulti.
Tactical gets away. He uses the Gale Force for the extra distance to make sure that cask cannot put him in a truly dangerous spot. Cloud9, though, they see Jensen up here on the top side. Jensen has his flash, he has his teleport, but he is still an immobile champion. C9 cannot close the distance in time. They can't make the pick.
But that's Soul. You know, this is Cloud9 now with that secured. So the engages become more difficult. The burst becomes more difficult for TL. Jensen TPing back out here. Needs to get out on the map and is going to try to press towards this mid lane tower. TL faster on this play, should be rewarded with this tier 1 here. Looking to try to get that mid lane track, and Cloud9 having to walk the long way around to respawn now means TL gets the inside track back towards Baron, established vision control, and you can see Alphari right on the precipice of going mega. He wants to be hanging out with his rage bar right there if they're trying to threaten a fight.
Okay, cast comes down, but it don't find nothing. Fudge getting caught, but buying time. Nice counterattack from Cloud9. Tactical already having to use the ulti with a flash into the Blade Caller. Zven is now in trouble. The hourglass, the stopwatch will not be able to keep him alive, and Cloud9 lose 2.
That is huge. They try to go for the big play, and Fudge with the whiff. Tactical played that so well. If you do not nail your engage as the AP Gragas, you will be punished, and they are going to be punished for this big time. Blaber is down. Perkz is here, so they may try to poke over the wall, look for some sort of a steal, but it's such a low chance here.
Okay, CoreJJ has jumped in right on top of where Perkz is going to be waiting, forces him to use the stolen flash to get away. Baron Nashor over to Team Liquid.
I've got to give so much credit as well to Tactical. The flash redirect on the Blade Call there to actually catch Zven was really game-changing. They're able to get back onto Tactical, so here is the ulti. Fudge is just predicting, Tactical, you are going to back up from my engage. He throws it just a little bit too far behind him. They catch Tactical there, but then look at that from Tactical. Beautiful. He's into the Blade Caller. Zven is there waiting to kill him off when he lands, but Tactical has a flash redirect to catch and burst down Zven there, and it gets them the Baron. The soul is still in the favor of C9, but that was such a costly engage from them. They went for it. They didn't have the correct read on the Gragas cask, and Tactical really made him pay.
Tactical making such an important outplay in the critical moment of the game. Team Liquid now feeling good about where they stand. For the next 2 minutes, they will have the Baron buff. In about 3 minutes, the Elder Dragon is alive. And the interesting part now, Azael, we're at the point where it doesn't matter that the Drake count is 4-1. This isn't old school League of Legends where the Elder Dragon scaled off of your Drake count. this is just as valuable to either squad. So TL, in just giving away those mountain drakes, allowing the soul to be claimed, they're now at a point where they could win a huge reward if they win an Elder fight.
Absolutely, and that is one of the things that really can turn a game on its head. Being able to grab that Elder Dragon. TL here trying to collect as much gold as they can with this Baron buff. Power play, not massive thus far, but they are looking to close in and try to chip away at these towers, try to get as much as they possibly can. But Cloud9 is hanging around and threatening an engage. You notice how these 3 members from Cloud9 are standing above the tower? That is because if TL then step forward in auto attack range of the tower, you are going to get flanked. And that is what they're trying to threaten. That is why they're trying to hold them back instead of just entering the lane. But because Armao pushes in mid, they've got to respond there. And as a result, you lose the bot lane tower.
Alphari loses half HP as he harasses Vulcan here a little bit, but not too worried about that. He can back up, teleport back down to the fight if need be. Team Liquid will use the last 45 seconds of their Baron, just trying to get a little bit of damage onto the tier 3 turret here. Teleport comes back out from Alphari. He's back in the mid lane. He's ready to go. C9 have managed to not lose any inhibitor turrets. They've not lost anything of great value. Tier 2 turrets up against a Baron push, you practically expect to just lose some of those things, so it's not a big deal here. And honestly, the Baron being plus 2,000 gold, not too bad for C9's point of view.
All things considered, not too bad, but it's still a big step forward there for TL, who had been trailing, who had lost the soul. That was their first major win, it felt like, really, this game, and that is big for them. Jensen is getting stronger and stronger. You know, the inevitability of this Viktor scaling is becoming a reality, and he was monstrous in the previous game this series. C9 trying to push Alphari back. The Baron buff has finally expired, so they defend the mid lane tier 2. It is 30 seconds on Elder, and that very well may be where this series could be decided. I mean, if you win that team fight as TL, you are potentially one team fight from being the mid-season Showdown champions at this point.
Oh, the pressure is on for Cloud9. They are currently behind in the state of the game, although you could argue that the Mountain Soul adds enough value to still keep them in the lead. But man, it's another one on a knife's edge.
Scary.
It hasn't had the same amount of kills as the previous games. It hasn't been high octane, but it's still so incredibly close. Team Liquid, they've teleported Jensen back out onto the map. The Elder Drake is now live. TL get a win in this game, they win the series. Cloud9 get a win in this game, they take us to game number 5. So much is on the line, and it's all coming down. Here to the Elder Drake fighting the bottom side of the river. Alphari with a stride breaker, tries to find a little bit of something, won't find a whole lot. Just about ready to transform into the Mega Gnar here, but Perkz gets away in time. We'll see a little bit of damage coming out from Jensen. Team Liquid falling back as a team. Tactical is asleep. He's in trouble with the onslaught of shadows over the wall. Tactical is down. Cloud9 find the enemy AD carry with CoreJJ having a flash over the wall. Fudge looking to go after him, but Jensen takes him down. Armao's in full retreat, but Zven has a killer instinct. Team Liquid have lost 2 of their players, their AD carry and their jungler. They cannot contest for this Elder Drake any longer.
Yeah, they're staying around, but the health bars are too low. They're still moving back here, but Perkz is behind them, and he does have an additional flash. He's gonna look!
This is madness. Alphari forced to use the stopwatch here as he tries to go forward. They're standing on top of the gravity well that Jensen has created. A little bit of a safe spot there. Jensen trying to move forward, looking to contest this here one more time. Nice interrupt coming through. Shutdown goes out. Cloud9 will take the Drake, they'll take the fight, and they will eviscerate Team Liquid.
And it is Perkz with the sleep to decide the fight. He caught Tactical, and Tactical was CC'd 100-0 from that point. Let's watch it one more time. It's a Bud Light ace. The sleep that sneaks through here over the wall from downtown. Now watch Blaber into the fear, knocks him back. Gragas ulti on top. He did not get to touch the keyboard again after that. That was so well layered. Fudge with the follow-up after Blaber, after Perkz, land the initial play. That was a big play. That is why this guy is such a big-time player. It's the moments like this that have defined Perkz' career, where he can grab a game from the precipice of defeat and really turn it around. Such a huge play for Cloud9, who is up against it here in this 4th game. TL still will have opportunities to try to win this game, but Cloud9 has the Elder for 120. The Baron is active, which pretty much guarantees you're not going to fight for that Baron. Maybe you try to go for a one-way trip on a steal as Armao, but very likely TL will try to turtle it up, hope that you can withstand the onslaught, and live to fight another day. And that's going to be tough with both of those neutral buffs squarely in Cloud9's hand, plus the Mountain Soul.
Yeah, if you try to go on that one-way trip as Armao and you don't get the Baron, and they have a 5v4 for a minute with both buffs, it's over.
Yep.
You just lose off of that almost impossible steal. So I respect them not going for it. I think him going for it is a hard int.
Yeah.
So now we have to see if they can successfully turtle, if they can somehow defend.
And we saw Cloud9 was set up for it. Vulcan and Fudge were outside the pit to not give an opportunity to try to steal there. And now it's about loss mitigation. How much are you willing to give up here as TL? You don't want a hard fight. You don't want to fight into Soul, Elder, and Baron. At the very least, you have to wait out the Elder, which has 20 seconds. Cloud9, on the other hand, are trying to force, during this small window they have left, 15 seconds on it. I think they'll just be given the inhib, but unlikely that they can get the fight.
They should be able to take two, because remember, they did open up the mid lane inhibitor as well. So while the Elder won't give them a team fight, it will give them 2 inhibitors for free, which brings us to that point that we've mentioned in previous games, where now the defense becomes much more difficult because you have the free pressure in 2 waves. They can now focus all their efforts onto that third lane.
And they've got 2 minutes on the Baron buff. This took them almost no time, right? Because they already had the Elder. Immediately the waves are in the right spot. They're pushing in. They're taking down the inhibs. So they've actually got time to reset, buy, get out on the map, and still try to triple inhib with the same Baron buff.
And look at the itemization here on everybody. Zven, just about full build, has the QSS here in that final slot. Looking back at Perkz, he's got the Zhonya's, he's got the Void Staff, Horizon Focus too.
Yeah.
So when those Hail Mary paddle stars are coming in, you better be saying your prayers. This man could 100-0 somebody very, very effectively. We've got, what is that, about a minute and a half left here on the Baron buff. And Team Liquid has to make their defense.
Yep, we're going to see C9 getting those waves going in the right direction. You see Fudge goes mid lane, helps to push that out, helps to bring in the additional pressure, because what they want to accomplish is supers funneling in mid and top, TL forced to respond at the same time as a wave is crashing bot.
Yeah, it's got to be synced up.
Exactly. And then TL goes over to answer those waves, and all of a sudden you have an undefended tower, you have the third inhibitor going down, you have that game potentially ending. TL are trying to push out these waves and prevent that from happening. I don't think it's going to be synced up on this wave, but on the subsequent wave, it may be. As we can see, supers in mid and top are on the march here and will be threatening Nexus turrets in the next 20-30 seconds.
Sleep only finds Armao, so not too worried about that one. Blaber escorting the wave in mid. Everybody else hanging out here on the bottom side. CoreJJ loses about a third of his HP. Not too happy about that one. Perkz again going for the bubbles, but not finding any hits.
This wave.
Doesn't matter though. Here it is, baby. Here's the pressure. There goes the tier 3 turret in the bottom lane. Cloud9 trying to make their move.
This is going to be the fight.
This is it. It all comes down to this. Cloud9 are hanging on right now. Let's see. Can Alphari find the angle that he needs? He's into the Mega Gnar. He looks to make the play. It's a big 3-man swipe, but it won't do much. It won't do anything. Alphari's going to be tanking up now into the back line. Tactical under pressure here yet again. Vulcan going after him, looking to find the kill, and he's got it. Tactical is down. CoreJJ is down. Cloud9 are marching at the Nexus. Blaber leads the charge, and the rest of his men fall in behind him. Ladies and gentlemen, do you like League of Legends? Because we're going to Game 5.
I hear something in the distance, Flowers. Silver Scrapes, baby. Let's go. Game 5. Cloud9 will make the series go the distance here in what was their most controlled, most methodical game here. They move away from some of the less atypical drafts that they were going for. They still had that Cloud9 flair in the draft, a little bit more of an index towards the hard engage.
Yeah.
The AP Gragas. They're going with the Zoe instead of a more standard control mage here, but it was still a powerful 5v5. They made it work here. They stacked the dragons early and often, and they controlled that space around neutral objectives so damn well that TL often never even got a chance to actually contest for the smites. It was more about what happened in the minutes leading up to the dragon instead of the dragon itself.
Perkz on the Zoe, providing the control with the bubbles. That
sleep,
miracle
man.
bubble,
Yeah.
that snipe onto Tactical that set it up for them to win the fight there at that critical moment. And that is enabled by the rest of the team playing properly as a group, as a unit, to always guarantee that they're setting him up for success.
And that one was the most memorable, but I want to say there was 2 to 3 sleeps that he actually had on Tactical in the midst of his team that was deciding a lot of these fights. And you talk about barrier of execution. You talk about how it's more difficult to get something out of a Zoe than a Viktor, perhaps. Or the baseline expectation is lower for Zoe. But that being said, when you go for that really high risk, high reward style,
sky's the limit.
And you nail it,
sky's the limit.
I mean, we saw it all come together with that one fight. The sleep from like 2 screens away into the Hecarim ult. The Gragas ult layered perfectly with it. Tactical, hands off keyboard, pal. You're dead.
Yeah, you're not doing anything about that one. I could have moved his character right there as much as he could have. There is no way to escape a situation like that. Cloud9 have taken the win and bring our series to Silver Scrapes. Man, I can't stop smiling. I love this so much. We're heading into a short break, but on the other side, we'll have the State Farm Analyst Desk breaking down the action.